Hello, my friends. Welcome back to English Unleashed. Today's episode is for anyone who feels nervous when speaking English. It is for people who understand English quite well, but feel uncomfortable when they open their mouth. It is for learners who think their accent is bad and believe that this accent stops them from speaking confidently. If this sounds like you are not alone. Many English learners around the world have the same feeling. They think their grammar is not perfect. They think their pronunciation is wrong. And because of this fear, they speak less. Sometimes they stay silent, even when they know exactly what they want to say. This episode is here to change one important belief. Your accent is not the problem. Let me say that again, slowly and clearly. Your accent is not the problem. The real problem is the fear that comes with it. From a very early stage of learning English, many people are taught that the goal is to sound perfect. They are told that good English means an American accent or a British accent. They listen to movies, they listen to podcasts and teachers, and they compare themselves again and again. Each comparison makes them feel smaller and less confident. Over time, this idea becomes very strong. Learners start to believe that their accent means their English is bad. They believe that mistakes are embarrassing. They believe that confidence is something that will come only after they become perfect. This belief is wrong, and it is very harmful. English today is a global language. It is spoken by millions of people who did not grow up speaking it. In fact, most English conversations in the world happen between non native speakers. People from different countries use English to work, study, travel, and connect with each other. They all speak with different accents, and communication still happens. Think about airports, universities, offices, and online meetings. You will hear English with many accents. You will hear different rhythms, different sounds, and different ways of speaking. And yet, people understand each other and work together very well. So, why do you feel that your accent is a problem? The answer is simple. You were taught to focus on perfection instead of communication. You were taught to focus on sounding correct instead of being clear. You were taught to judge yourself before anyone else does. When you believe your accent is a problem, your body reacts. Your voice becomes quieter. You speak faster or slower than usual. You stop in the middle of sentences. Sometimes you change your words because you are afraid. Sometimes you decide not to speak at all. This has nothing to do with your intelligence. It has nothing to do with your ability to learn languages. It has everything to do with confidence. Here is something very important to understand. Your accent is not a sign of poor English. An accent is a sign that you learned a second language. It shows that you already did something difficult. It shows effort. It shows experience and courage. People who have accents are not weak speakers. They are brave speakers. They use English even though it is not their first language. They think in one language and speak in another. This is not easy. It takes time, patience, and practice. But here is the point. Fear can slow everything down. When you are afraid of your accent, you practice less. When you practice less, your speaking improves more slowly. When improvement is slow, fear becomes stronger. This creates a cycle that is very hard to break. So, this episode is here to help you break that cycle. We are not going to erase your accent. We are not going to chase perfection. We are going to change the goal. The new goal is clarity and confidence. Clarity means people can understand you without stress. Confidence means you allow yourself to speak even when your English is not perfect. You do not need perfect pronunciation to be clear. You do not need a native accent to be confident. You need calm speech, simple sentences, and trust in yourself. Many learners are surprised when they hear this, but people do not listen to your accent as much as you think. Most people are busy thinking about what they want to say next. They care about the message, not the sound. In fact, many listeners respect speakers who use English as a second language. They see effort. They see skill. They see someone who is trying. Confidence does not come after fluency. Confidence comes before fluency. When you allow yourself to speak, you improve. When you improve, confidence grows. This is how real fluency is built. Many English learners speak too fast because they feel nervous. When they start a sentence, they want to finish it quickly. They are afraid of making mistakes, so they rush. Words become unclear. Sounds mix together. And listeners need to work harder to understand. Speaking more slowly helps in many ways. When you slow down, your words become clear. Your sentences sound calmer. You also give yourself more time to think. This makes your speech more confident and more natural. Speaking slowly does not mean speaking badly. Many strong speakers speak slowly. They pause. They breathe. They give important words more time. Clear speakers usually use simple sentences. This does not mean childish sentences. It means sentences that are easy to follow. When learners try to sound advanced, they often use very long sentences with many ideas. This can make the message confusing, especially in speaking. Simple sentences travel better across accents. They are easier for listeners to understand, especially when English is not their first language. Word stress is also important. English is a language where some words are more important than others. Clear speakers make these important words stronger. They do not try to pronounce every sound perfectly. Instead, they focus on the keywords that carry meaning. When you stress important words, listeners understand you more easily, even if your accent is strong. They catch the main idea, and that is what matters most. Many learners worry too much about small pronunciation details. They repeat one sound again and again. But listeners usually do not care about small details. They care about meaning. Okay, as we come to the end of this episode, I want you to remember one simple idea. Your accent is not something to fix, it is something to accept. You do not need to erase where you come from in order to speak good English. You do not need to sound like a native speaker to be clear, confident, and respected. What matters is that people can understand you and that you allow yourself to speak without fear. Fluency is not perfection. Fluency is freedom. It is the freedom to speak even when your sentence is not perfect. It is the freedom to pause, repeat, and continue. It is the freedom to use English as a tool, not as a test. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of English Unleashed. Your voice belongs here. Keep practicing, keep learning, and keep believing in yourself. Bye for now.